Narration of naming the problem slide. In early work with the client, the counselor and the client name the problem, literally. They name the problem with a 1 or 2 word name like depression, feeling inadequate, marriage stress, and this name is used throughout the therapy unless it needs to evolve to another more accurate name later on. Thus begins the externalization or the removal of the problem from the client and to his exterior. Externalizing language slide. The named problem is now externalized from the client. The story is told as it happened, but with the problem outside of the client now. The depression invaded you. The depression made you feel sad and worthless and defeated. The inadequate feelings took over your life. The inadequate feelings took away your self-confidence. The marriage stress took away the joy in the relationship. Abuse and abusers are not externalized, however. Language like "he abused you" continues. Even "you abused him in the past," or "you used to believe violence was the answer." The empty chair technique may even be engaged for the problem or for the other person involved in the problem, like the abused or the abuser, or the spouse or the depression. All language empowers and encourages the client throughout the process of externalizing the problem from the client. The slide on social and political issues. Social and political issues related to the issue may be vocalized and also externalized, allowing the client to see that social norms or cultural norms may influence how the problem is seen. Externalizing these socio-political and cultural norms helps remove the client from the problem. In our culture, depression can be seen as a weakness by some, but it is okay to talk to close friends about these issues, and previously you were guided by societal judgments about the depression that invaded you. Or culturally, we are sometimes taught that asserting ourselves or standing up for ourselves in an argument is wrong as women, but you can see that you were working to avoid the marriage stress by advocating your position. Or abuse in a marriage is wrong, and you now see that and are making changes. Relative influence questioning slide. The client is shown how he has made progress and is succeeding over his externalized problem. The client begins to see how society has influenced the way he or she perceives the problem, and also how the new story helps overcome that old story. Deconstruct unique slide narration. The counselor and client dismantle the original problem and create space for a different and positive narrative. The positive outcomes or times when things have gone well are illuminated and stressed. These sparking moments light the way to a positive feeling of accomplishment for the client. Person takes a slide narration. The moment comes when the client decides to take the next step, move on or stay. It may not be time yet for the client. There may need to be more work done. The goal is to move on and assume the new story. Therapeutic document slide narration. Written documents made by the client and or the counselor may be used to help the story writing process. In a written form, the documents may be used by the client at a later date to refocus or reorient. The client may want to write the story of the failed marriage, highlighting the good times and reauthoring the problems in the new storyline. The depressed client may want to write his story telling about how his externalized depression haunted him but eventually was expelled. Narration for remembering slide. Critical people in the story may be de-emphasized or re-emphasized based on the requirements of the new story. Outsider witness narration slide. A third party may be suggested by the counselor as a person to hear the new story and provide feedback till the new story is finalized, or a friend or confidant of the clients may be utilized. The goal is a story that will work for the client in the future with an externalized problem and built on the successes of the client in conquering that problem. Telling, retelling slide narration. The client then tells and retells the new story to himself and to others, internalizing the new story, building strength, gaining acceptance of his new story. Ending therapy narration. When the story becomes the client's accepted version, he and the counselor may decide it is time for the end of therapy. This is a positive and fulfilling end to the process. End.